What I can tell you is that I am experienced in fields from cars to cookies, and I've worked for IBM and Ford and other big companies, but mostly I work with entrepreneurs, and that is really who I love to work with. And so I'm happy to have you all here. And the thing I want to tell you about AI is that there are so many myths about it, and I'm going to show you the stuff that's actually useful because that's all that really matters. And so with that, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start the slides. So welcome to the Non-Geek Guide to Advanced AI for Nonfiction Writers. And we have a lot to cover today, and there's hype all over the place about AI, and I'm going to cut through that for you and explore some real world examples of how it's transforming the way that writers work, because this is never going to be the same. And AI has become a game changer for the whole literary world and also for journalism. And there are some very difficult things that are happening, but there are also some great ones. So ChatGPT was launched in November 2022. It quickly reached 100 million users in 2 months, and currently it has 180.5 million active users. And there are other platforms, but I'm going to concentrate on ChatGPT and show you how to use it because seriously, it takes some knowledge. Funding to AI-related startups is 668 billion, and that was exactly the size of the DOJ budget in 2023. The question is, will they be the next Google or the next Friendster, for those of you who are old enough to remember Friendster? And I have on my wall, I have a drawing from, what is Hugh's last name? Hugh MacLeod. And it's two goldfish, and one is saying to the other, are you the next Google? And the other one is saying, no, I'm a goldfish. I love that one. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to train the AI to write in your voice, which I think is very significant. We're going to show you how to make your own GPT chatbot and join the millions that are already there. The best AI apps for writers. I've combed through a bunch, and these are some that I like that I think will be helpful to you. And so let's get started with how to train ChatGPT to write in your voice. I have some videos here that are demonstrations. Some of them have AI voices and some of them are me. Written or visual conversation, content is never going to be the same. And when you see this, you'll kind of know why. Next slide. Go. Why isn't it going to the next slide? Here we go. Okay, so here is a demo of how you teach ChatGPT to write in your style, and it's about 3 minutes long. I'm going to show you one of the coolest things that ChatGPT can do for writers, and that is to learn how to write in your style. This is a small demonstration. If I was training it on a really serious basis, I would upload multiple samples of my writing, but I'm just going to show you how it handles one of my articles and what it says about it. And so let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, here's my prompt. I want you to learn to write your responses in my style. I'm uploading one of my articles. Please analyze it for tone, style, paragraph length, and remember the analysis. Now it's going to ask me to give it an article, and I'm going to do that. Okay, here's my article. I could upload it as a PDF, but I'm just copying it. As you can see, it has a lot to say about the way I write. So I'm asking it, will you be able to remember what you told me and incorporate it into your future responses to me? And let's see what it says.
Yes, I will remember the analysis of your writing style and incorporate it into my future responses to you. Your style, characterized by its inspirational and urgent tone, direct and engaging approach, and use of examples and analogies, will be reflected in my responses. Additionally, the informative nature of your writing, with moderate to long paragraphs focusing on single ideas, and the emphasis on continuous learning, and AI's impact on jobs and skills, will guide the way I communicate with you.
So that is basically all that you need to do. And that was my voice in being generated, and also, as you could tell, a fake male voice, but it's fun to use those. So I like to do that. Oh, come on, don't do this, slides. I'm going to show you one of the no, that's not what I'm going to do. This happened last time too. Okay, let's make this work. Okay, so let me show you how to make your own GPT chatbot. It takes about 5 minutes maximum. It's so much fun. And I made one about swing dance history because I'm a swing dancer. You can do it on any subject. There are already millions of them. Here's how you do it. And I will take you to the GPT store and show you how it is looking. Okay, I'm going to show you how to create your own GPT using ChatGPT. These can be fun or they can be useful. Let's do one that's useful. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So the first thing you need to do is you go to Explore GPTs, and we'll see an entire list of the gazillions of GPTs that have already been created. And of course, they're free for you to use because all of these are public. Okay, so the first thing you do is you go up here on the top right to the Create button, and you get the option to tell it what you want it to do, asking you what would you like to make. So I'm telling it that finds and summarizes today's news about generative AI. Okay, and then you just press, give it the message. I don't like that title. There it is. It's already done. Oh, it's making me an image. What I did wrong was not limit the number of responses I wanted, so it's giving me a whole lot. I should have asked for the top 10. Database, and it will do that now. When I built my Dance Buddy one, it didn't have a lot of information online, so I had to upload content and links and feed it information. But here, it's able to do this. So, okay, recent developments in generative AI. It goes and searches Bing. Searches the web using Microsoft Bing. And here you go. And as you see, it will go on and on. And then once I've liked it and accepted it, I will keep it. So now it's still going. Okay, well, there's a lot of news every day. That's what this is all about. Every day there's news, and every day there's something that makes you go, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, it's true. This is a trend of rapid growth. No two ways about that. Okay, so now we go to configure today's AI news. I summarize, okay, I like that. And I've given it instructions. I like that. I like that. And if I want to add additional questions, I can add them here. I can upload files. I can, I'm including web browsing. I don't really want any code in here. So I'm telling it now to save it. And I'm going to make it public to everyone, which means it will be available in the ChatGPT store. And there you have it. And you can do it on any subject you want, and that's how simple it is. You do need to have a $20 a month ChatGPT Plus subscription, but that's really not a big deal because you get all of the various apps and all of the capabilities that it has. So have fun making yours. Okay, I'm going to show you. I have seen some that are really, really useful. And the store already has a few million, and you can go in there and you can see them by topic. And these are some of the ones that it is showing for writers. And some of them are, I've checked a few of them out, and some of them are really helpful, and some of them are meant for professional writers, some are meant for journalists. It's really worthwhile taking a look through these. They will be able to monetize these chatbots according to GPT. This will be announced in Q1. And believe me, there are going to be some people who make a lot of money on the popular ones. So now let me show you what I think is the coolest thing in the world, which is how to clone your voice with 11 Labs. 11 Labs is a really astonishing company. Right now, you need a creator subscription, and right now for the first month it's $11, which is a wild bargain, and after that it'll be 22. You can always downgrade while you're not using it and go to either a free or a $10 a month one. You won't need a voiceover artist, you won't need to rent a studio, you won't need to spend half your life recording and re-recording your book until you finally like the way you sound. It will all just happen for you. And here's how it's done. And I think this is pretty remarkable. In this demonstration, I am going to show you something that is a little bit complicated, but that could save you an incredible amount of time creating an audiobook once you have completed your book. I am going to show you how to use a site called 11 Labs. You have to have a creator account, which is at the moment $11 a month, and then after the first month, $22. But you will use it to clone your voice, and you can then use it to create your audiobook in your own voice. That means no voiceover artists, no studio rental, no many hours of you reading your own work. This is really an incredible advance in AI, and in my opinion, possibly one of the most important ones for authors. So let's get started, and I will demonstrate for you exactly how this is done. It's so cool. Okay, here we are in 11 Labs, and what I am going to do is I am going to add a voice. I already have my voice in here, but I will show you how that happened, and then you'll be able to do it yourself. You will need to have a recording of your voice. It needs only 5 minutes of you speaking, and you can use a video clip, you can use an audio clip, you can record yourself in Zoom and download the audio file. It's up to you how you choose to do that, but no matter how you choose to do it, it's very simple. So here I am, I'm going to add a new voice. And so I add generative or cloned voice. I go to instant voice cloning. I'm going to call this one BL3 because I have a couple of others. And then I am going to take the files that I recorded of my voice, and I'm going to copy them, and I am going to put them in here and share them with you. And it's just kind of incredible how fast this all happens. I'm just going to drag it over here, and you will see that it has actually, I'm going to add my voice, and in order to do that, I have to agree that to the terms, which is certainly not a problem. How I'm going to describe this is a demonstration, and I'm going to use it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some text in here. And you have to be using, by the way, you have to be using version 2. I chose English as the language, and they want you to use 11 Turbo version 2, which I have already done. Yeah, so I'm just going to add a sentence because that way it'll be really quick, but you can add your entire book. You can add your entire manuscript, which is just so incredible. So now I'm going to tell it to generate using my voice. In the heart of the bustling city of Neo Tokyo, there existed a small, unassuming cafe named the Timeless Brew. This cafe was known for its unique ability to bring together people from all walks of life. And then I'm able to download that. So if you had used your book, you would be able to download the audio version of your book. Pretty cool. Okay, next slide. Nope, nope. Hold on. What you also need to know is that you can't put your entire manuscript in there all at once. You can do up to 99 pages, so you have to do it in sections, and it will not copy your table of contents or your index at the back of the book. Whoever that is, can you mute yourself, please? Okay, I need you to mute yourself, everybody. Okay, so you use your cloned voice to make audiobooks, or you can use it in many other ways, and you can use it in social posts. You can use it all over the place. You can upload as much as 99 pages of your manuscript at a time. It can translate into as many languages as you choose. It's got many to select from at this point. Now, I want to show you where the real magic happens in AI, and that is how you make effective prompts. If you learn how to make prompts correctly, you will find that the platforms are less likely to hallucinate, because I think what's important to understand is that after 3,000 words, GPT can only retain that many words in its memory at a time, and that is when it will start to mess things up and make things up and do what is called hallucinating. So I'm going to show you how to make that not happen. Prompts are the thing that make the magic happen, and learning how to do them is something that will take a little bit of time, but fortunately you can do them over as many times as you want. So you need to be very specific and very clear in your instructions, and if you are not, then you will get, garbage in, garbage out. That's how this works. You have to avoid any vague or very long prompts. And you have to try different types of prompts. And I'm going to show you one that really surprised me after I go through a few more slides. But this is really critical knowledge, and you can ask for data, like you can tell it calculate the number of business books in 2023. It can provide all kinds of different data. The most important thing, in my opinion, is you have to give it a persona. You have to tell it, you are an author writing a nonfiction business book about whatever your topic is, so that it knows, who you want it to be. And then you tell it, respond in approximately 2 paragraphs, or create a 5-point bulleted list. Because as you'll see with my GPT that I showed you, I did not say, do not give me more than 10 results. And so it just went on until it had found more than we needed to know. You have to prompt in multiple ways, and I'll give you an indication of what that is. And when I've done my prompt, I ask it, are you sure about your answer? And many times it's not, and it will continue its response. And I also always ask it, can you make the points stronger? Have you left anything out? Is there anything I should have included in my request? And then when you're done with your prompt, the thing to tell it is make it more. And it does. And it will keep on adding information, and until you tell it to stop. I also like to just ask it why when it gives me a response. And then it goes back and it tells me how it came to that conclusion. And I also always tell it, go deeper. And I also like to tell it, and I'll show you a demonstration of this, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. And I think this is my new favorite way to do it. So it surprised me by responding to one of my prompts with a quiz. And here's what happened. Yeah, I found this amusing. See if you do.
Teach me about AI prompts in simple language that a 5-year-old can understand.
All right. Imagine you have a magical coloring book. In this book, you can tell a story or describe a picture you want to see, and then poof, the book draws it for you. These stories or descriptions you tell the book are called AI prompts. It's like when you ask your mom or dad to draw you a picture of a big green dragon flying in the sky, and then they draw it for you. But in this case, the magical coloring book, which is the AI, does the drawing based on your words. So the better and clearer your story is, the better the picture turns out. Cool, right?
In a repeatable pattern. Ask me more questions to check my understanding.
Great. Let's do a fun quiz to see how much you've understood about AI prompts. I'll ask you a few questions and you can try to answer them. Ready? Here we go. If AI is like a magical coloring book, what are you doing when you give it a prompt? Imagine you want the AI to draw a picture of a cat wearing a superhero cape. What do you need to tell the AI? Why is it important to be clear when you tell the AI what to draw? If the picture the AI draws is not what you wanted, what do you think you could do differently next time? Don't worry about getting everything perfect. It's all about learning and having fun.
How do I know if my answers are correct?
That's a great question. Since I'm here to help, I can check your answers for you. After you answer each question, I'll tell you if your answer is on the right track and explain a bit more if needed. This way, you'll know if you understood everything correctly and learn even more about AI prompts. So go ahead, give the questions a try, and I'll be here to guide you.
1. I tell it what I want it to do.
Absolutely right. When you give an AI a prompt, you are telling it what you want it to do, just like asking someone to draw a picture for you based on your description. Great job! Ready for the next question?
2. Create an image of an orange cat wearing a superhero cape.
Perfect! You've given a clear and specific description for the AI to create an image. An orange cat wearing a superhero cape. This kind of detailed prompt helps the AI understand exactly what you're looking for. You're doing really well. Let's move on to the next question, shall we?
3. You need to be clear in your prompt so the AI knows exactly what you want it to do.
Exactly right. Being clear in your prompt is important because it helps the AI understand exactly what you want. If the prompt is vague or confusing, the AI might not create the picture you're imagining. You've got a good grasp on this. Ready for the last question?
4. I would need to add more specific instructions to the prompt so the AI knows what to do.
That's spot on. If the AI doesn't create the picture you wanted, adding more specific instructions or details to your prompt can help guide it better. This way, the AI has a clearer idea of what you're imagining. You've done a fantastic job understanding how AI prompts work. Do you have any more questions, or is there anything else you'd like to learn about?
I had never seen a response of that nature,
About AI,
and that surprised me, but
teach me about AI.
it was really, helpful in terms of what it taught me. So I also like to ask it, give me an unbiased overview of the relationship between this and that. The more specific, the more detailed you are, the better your responses are going to be. It's important to tell it cite sources, and then it's your job to check them, as it's always been. On the internet, you cannot take anything at face value. You always have to check sources. And if your prompts haven't been really good, you might have gotten some made up sources. So it's up to you to check what it's telling you. And then, I get angry at it. I tell it, that's not what I asked you. Try again. So you want to break down your requests so you don't get very long answers, and you can continue in the same vein. Sometimes if you have a really long chain of prompts, it gets a little confused. You have to remind it what you were talking about at the beginning, but that doesn't happen often. So let's say that I'm going to take a trip to New York and I want to get some information. And rather than putting everything I want to know in one prompt, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to say to it, what's the weather like in New York? What should I pack for this time of year? What are some of the best Thai restaurants? Because I like Thai food. What public transportation is available, and each of those will get you a response. You have to remind it what you are asking. I have to tell you this over and over because it can only hold 3,000 words before it gets confused. 3,000 words, by the way, are quite a lot. So here's a bad prompt. Tell me the history of the Empire State Building, including architect, construction, materials, budget, and controversies. It just seriously can't tell you all that in one response. So the better prompt is, tell me about the history of the Empire State Building. Once it does that, you say, who was the architect? Once it does that, were there any controversies involved in its construction? And then what makes it significant? Because that is a good question. And then how does it compare? This is something I'd really like it to tell me. How does it compare to other iconic buildings in New York, like the Chrysler Building and the what is the one on 23rd Street that I can't think of the name of, but there are many famous buildings that it would be interesting to learn more about from ChatGPT. Okay, I hope that that was helpful, and let's go on to some of the best AI apps for writers. Write Minimal is it's an AI-powered app that is meant to help you concentrate, basically. It's focused on removing distractions. I find Hemingway to be like that as well. And all of these have free trials so that you can see whether these work for you. Lex is designed specifically for individual writers. So it's not for marketers, it's not for corporate people, it's not for techies, it's for you. SEMrush is the SEO site that's extremely expensive to use, but wonderful, has a lot of free resources, and this is their writing assistant. It's a packet of 75 writing tools, and it's free. There's also a $25 a month version, which I guess they update and add to, and they also have a wonderful blog and terrific library of how-tos that you can have without paying the $400 a month or whatever it is. WordTune is one that a lot of people like. It's a rewriting tool, and it fixes clunky sentences and checks for plagiarism, similar to Grammarly and Hemingway. One of the things you do need to keep in mind about AI is that it's really not for writing, because its sentence structure tends to be all the same. Its writing is not, it doesn't have heart. And, that's up to you to add, but it's a tool. It's not the end of everything. So this information truly is the tip of the iceberg in AI. There's so much more to learn. There's so much more that I can teach you, but I can't do it in an hour. So you can take, people ask me, how did you learn this? So I've been learning this for a very long time, and you can take multiple courses. You can watch scores of videos, on YouTube. There's 5 million people who want to tell you how to do this in a variety of accents. And you can read dozens of newsletters every day. I do all that. I can do that for you. So if you like to work with me one-to-one, I'll help you master AI in your specific situation. And I have a limited time discount for anybody who wants to work with me. I'm going to take $75 off my normal consulting fee, and with a 2-hour minimum, I will work with you for $150 an hour. And we can go over your specific needs in terms of your writing career. And so you can sign up here, and we'll send that link out to you for the discounted
It's
deal.
in the chat. The link is in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to
And-
take questions though, too.
Yes, absolutely. And here's how to reach me, guys. And that'll be in there. And thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and take your questions. I hope that was
Great.
helpful.
So, yes, I thought that was amazing. Great resources. There were a lot of questions in the chat, but if you want to raise your hand electronically, that would be great to start answering some questions.
Julie.
Can I do it electronically? I see Julie, right, Stephanie, Julie, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
did.
just-
Your actual hand.
We'll just take, right.
I raised it, but then I put it down when you asked me to speak, got called on me, I should say. Bill, I was just wondering what AI image maker you used, or I guess you use one, seeing as you.
Yes, I use a couple of them regularly. DAL E3 is part of your subscription to ChatGPT, and it goes out and uses Bing. But what I do is I go to Bing and I use their image maker. It is free, and it makes 4 images at a time. And all of the images in the slides are ones that I made, and it saves your prompts, and that is really helpful. And another thing I want to tell you all to do, like when you get a prompt that works, put it in a Google Doc or a Word doc or wherever you keep your notes, and use it again, because if it worked once, it's going to work again. And that's a really important thing to do in terms of saving time. Okay, what else can I tell you?
Or just yet one last thing, is it the same thing applies? Be specific, be clear, short.
Yes, and also you want to tell it the style that you want the image to be in, whether it's a photograph or digital art, or in the style of Picasso, or in the style of a particular artist. I like to tell it steampunk style, a futuristic style. You can, anything you want to see, it'll do. Not always as well as you want, and many times you have to do those images over. And one of the things that it does, which will drive you crazy because it does me, is you tell it to put words in there and it changes the words. And it changes, like if you tell it I tell it put AI in and it puts AL in. I say, no, I want AI. And it puts AL and it just won't listen. So, there are things it can and can't do. It's not perfect, but oh my God, it's great.
And is there one for video? For creating
Pardon?
video? Is there one for creating video?
There are many, and I mean there are literally dozens of them, and so, some better than others. And YouTube has one now as well. It's called YouTube Poet. Yes, Stephanie.
Around, huh? Thank you.
Yes.
Stephanie, yeah.
After you input your voice in and it generates one that sounds like me, what if it's not exactly like I want it to sound? The
You do
inflection.
it again. Do it again. I did it multiple times. The one that had the quiz, those were basically random voices. One thing I forgot to tell you about 11 Labs is, as opposed to importing, I used Audacity, which is a free site, to create the sound. You also can choose to do it directly into 11 Labs. My opinion is that it works better if you do it in Audacity and then bring it into 11 Labs, but you have to experiment. I tried it a few different times. It does speed up your voice. I don't know why, and I'm sure there's a way that I haven't learned yet where you can slow it down. And when I learn that, I'll let you know.
And if I want it to be funny or sound concerned, how do I get it to do that?
That's the voice you have to give it. You can't tell it to change the voice that you've uploaded. What it gets is what it uses. So it's not something that you can change, at least not in 11 Labs. I'm sure there are other sites that would make those changes, but I have not used them. It's fun to do, I have to tell you. Anybody else have a question?
Yvonne,
Hi, have
Tom.
you, yeah,
Tom,
Tom with Yvonne. Have you tested the an audiobook through the ACX labs and know that it complies with ACX and Audible specs?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not. My level of knowledge is how to do it. I haven't gotten past that at this point, but I will. Have you? Have you tried that?
I know I have not tried this. I've used professional voice actors and
yeah.
run it through ACX, and the specs are pretty strict. So
Yeah,
I was
it's a
just
great
curious
question.
whether this would fly as an audiobook on
It-
I'm
I
gonna
know-
ask my audio guy. We work with an audio professional, and so he would probably know. So I'll ask him.
I
and then
will
get
also
back to you.
tell you that Mark Schaefer, who is a marketing guru of the highest order, has just used this platform to record his new book. and he played it for other people, and they literally could not tell that it wasn't him.
Right.
And he will then deal with whatever compliance issues are required. But
Well,
the key thing is getting it done, and then you figure out the rest of it. And that's the same if you have somebody record it for you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
right.
I use
It just may
Audacity
or may
too.
not upload to ACX, but you can sell it elsewhere, right? On your own. But it is
Oh,
a
yeah.
very important question that we have to find out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've done that. I have an audiobook that I didn't even try to put on ACX or Audible.
Yeah,
So yeah, it'll work for that for
a
sure.
lot of people do, for sure. Absolutely.
It'll
Cool.
work for Kindle too. Yes,
Yeah,
Donna.
I have a question. I can't get my hand raised here electronically, but this is more of an ethics, plagiarism type question. But I've been using Chat GPT to generate stuff like, give me some stories about XYZ. I want to add some stories to the book I'm writing. So once they give me a story, let's say it's somebody overcoming the fear of flying. They give me some story. How much do I have to change that to be able to use that?
Well, number one, I would put it into Grammarly or Hemingway or SEMrush, and I would find out what it considers to be plagiarized copy. You need to change it to give it your own style in any case, but
Right.
I would absolutely require you to check for plagiarism. And there are multiple sites where that can happen.
Okay, I use Grammarly, so
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But a lot of people are. I know it's, I think, one of the top ones. And you can't just take what it writes and translate that into your own stuff because it's not your own.
right.
And also, like, if you use something from it, ask it for its source. And if you are going to use it, then include the source.
Okay.
I think that that's perfectly fine as long as you say where it came from.
But you need to check the source also.
Make sure the
Very
source is
carefully.
real.
Mhm.
Lawyers keep getting themselves in trouble because they're not tech people and they
Yeah.
they
Well,
use
usually it just
ChatGPT
gives-
made up cases.
That's the thing that comes down to how good your prompts are, and if your prompts are good, you're going to have less of those issues.
Okay.
Anybody
Right.
else? Is that it?
Another,
Eric?
just, I'm sorry, BL, so Donna, there's another platform called Scribbr, SCRIBBR, which was rated one of the top platforms that you can use to check for plagiarism.
Okay. Because what it's typically given me as a generic story. It's not saying, FDR did this or that or blah, blah. It's a generic story.
Nonetheless, I would say via ChatGPT. I
Right.
mean, I would give my source.
Okay.
I would never use anything that it writes without giving a source.
Right. Agreed. And also you can't use more than 300 words. Before you get caught and need permission and probably have to pay for it. So, but no matter what, if you use 20 words, as BL says, you always need to cite the source. But you can't go over 300 words for the story.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have asked it to cite the sources where it got the information, but I can't trust that either.
What do you mean? Why can't you check that? Tell it to give you links. You tell it, I need the links to your source. And it will do that. It's a baby. You have to talk to it like a baby. You can't expect it to respond in an adult way every time. I mean, but the thing that it did where it gave me the little quiz, I mean, that just knocked me out. I've never seen anything like it, and neither has anybody else I showed it to. And I think that's a good way to do it, actually.
And do I need to say please and thank you?
No, a lot of people say, don't say please and thank you. And I think that has to do with the fact that the singularity is indeed coming. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg's going to bring it to us. And you don't want it to think it can push you around. It's what a lot of people say. No, there's really no need to do that. I get angry at it. I say, that's not what I told you I wanted. Exclamation, exclamation. And then the next thing it says is, I'm sorry, let me try again.
Very polite.
Yes, it's polite, but I'm not always, if I'm in a hurry, especially like, oh, stop that, But I mean, I just really, it's a mind stretcher. There's no two ways about that. And you will get comfortable with it as you have gotten comfortable with email and social media and, Zoom and
Definitely.
everything else. It's a matter of practice. And it helps to have somebody show you stuff, I have had people like Scott have helped me because he's a good friend. And I study. That's what I do. I'm a lifetime learner. I read and I study and I ask questions. At the beginning, like when I first saw the internet and was seduced by it, back in those days, you could call up anybody and you could say, can you show me? Can you teach me? Can I come see what you're doing? And everybody go, yeah, come on over. That's not happening so much now, but a lot of people will be very generous and will help you. And I'm one of them. You can always ask me questions. So
Julie?
another question, Julie?
Yeah,
Unmute
I do.
yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Just Karen mentioned you can't use more than 200 or 300 words.
300.
300. And is that, what about when you're researching using ChatGPT? Does when you get, I didn't realize you had to cite your sources and everything that can do that. But does that, so if you're chopping it all about and creating something new and adding bits,
Mhm.
is that then yours? Or, where's the...
If you've created something new with it, yes. I mean, much of the information that I shared with you is information that I learned in other places. So, I looked at it, I saw how it applied to me. I changed my approach to the content. And so, you're responsible for that type of changing. But the research that it does, especially if you go to the site scholar.ai, and I will share with you a site for journalists that contains a database that has all of the sources that various news mediums used to do their stories. Like if there's a court case involved, if there's, whatever they use, their interview transcripts and so on. You can do that. And there's a free Google site for journalists as well. I'll share those links with you. And also I recommend that you subscribe to a newsletter called Journalist Toolbox. And it answers a lot of these questions on a regular basis. And the issue today had a list of prompt, how to generate prompts. And I covered all of those with you because I already knew that, but there's new information there all the time. And they also have courses. They're very expensive, but they have courses. There are universities that are offering multi-$1,000 courses in AI, for which you get a certificate. And there are free ones. And, I think that it's important to just open yourself up to the need to constantly research and learn about this because of the way that it changes all the time. And I showed you ChatGPT, but I use Perplexity a lot. I like the way it does research. I like the way it responds. I try not to use too many different, platforms. I basically go back and forth between Perplexity, which is $20 a month, and ChatGPT. Microsoft Bing has some wonderful qualities. They have a free version and they have I think it's $20 a month version as well. This is going to be like, streaming apps that we all have multiple subscriptions to. And you're going to find that you put $20 here and $5 there and $15 there. And, you get your credit card bill and you go, oh my God, what have I done? So, you really need you keep a spreadsheet of what you subscribe to. I always do that. And go over it on a regular basis and see whether you still need those things. And when you get a free trial, always add to your calendar the time when you have to get
Right.
rid of it, because otherwise you'll find yourself being billed $75 a month for something that started at $2, you have to use Notion for stuff like this. I mean, really, I love it. And it has a calendar now that is free. It has some really extraordinary, and it'll do AI responses as well. I don't actually use it for that because I use these other sites, but it's a wonderful place to start to keep your records of what you're learning. So can I tell anybody anything else? You guys have
There's
great
some
questions.
Questions in the chat. Leonora wants to know, does it only provide responses from newspaper articles from the internet?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay, so it looks at pre-internet newspaper stories from websites? Like what exactly does it do?
It will go to newsletters, it will go to books, it will go to all kinds of whatever is available in research, particularly if you're using scholar.ai. Those are vetted sources. And by the way, ChatGPT, when you have a subscription, it has plugins that you can use. It's only letting me use 3 at a time. I don't know why, but one of them is an app for uploading PDFs to ChatGPT. Well, there are a variety of different apps that you can use in the App Store, and those will be helpful to you. You can get more of them in Chrome than you can in Safari, I've learned, but those are free with your subscription, and a lot of them will help you do the things that you're asking about.
So before we take another question from Julie BL, can you just slowly go over a little bit about your offer? Because I didn't want people to miss that. I'm putting the links in the chat, but just go over what they would get by working with you individually.
Okay, if we were working together on an individual basis, you would tell me about what your, what research you want to do. You tell me what you want to learn. I will show you whatever you need to know. I will show you how to make images. I will show you, how to use Perplexity and some of the other apps that are, that apply to your work. I would give you individual instruction. I really love to do that because I love to teach, and I'm asking you to spend 2 hours with me because we could talk for a week about that stuff, but if you tell me what you need to achieve and what you want to learn, I will teach it to you. And I will teach it to you in a succinct and hopefully very clear way. I hope I've done that today. Does that help?
Great. I hope that was, if anybody has any questions about that, that would be great. I put the link in the chat. Just check out what she's offering and the benefits. Because what BL is offering, you can't get. I mean, she works with big companies. She works with people who are paying her several $100s an hour. So, and she's offering here what I think is a great deal. Because we all need to learn this. So
Thank you,
please
Karen.
at least look at it and check it out. Absolutely.
One thing about the chat, I don't know if everybody knows this, but at the bottom of the chat, there are 3 tiny little dots on the right side, and that allows you to save the chat with all the links that are in the chat. And in fact, I'm going to do that right now. Show
Julie,
chat.
you got a question?
Where's the chat?
I
Come
do,
on.
and it is actually about working with BL, and that was, I can see that one would need to like get your head around what. So I mean, I'm very interested in working with you, but I can see that I need to get my head around what I want to actually get from you. So if one pays today or for however long the offer is open for, how long would I have before I have to hook up with you and
Oh, I would leave that up to you. I'm not going to make you do it today, Guys, can you see at the bottom of the chat, there are a bunch of icons and there's 3 little dots. And when you click on that, you get the option to save the chat. It will save to your desktop. Once you save it to your desktop, it'll just say that it's a text chat. Rename it so that you know where it comes from. I keep them in a folder of chats that I've saved links from. So, given all the questions that are in here and all of that, I think this is worth, and the links, it's worth saving.
Definitely.
Can I help you in another way? Who else raised their hand? Oh, go ahead. You got a lot of questions. Go ahead.
That's what I do.
Yes, that's true.
So the link for the journalist resources, you mentioned that you would be able to give to us.
I'm going to put that into a resource sheet that Karen will send to everyone who was here. And you will also get a copy of the video.
Great. And do you have a done for you
A
model?
what?
Done for you. So if I work with you, you simply show me how to use the platforms. You don't actually put together something for me.
Oh, I can work right in it with you and help you that way. That's exactly what I would do. In the
Right.
same way that I was showing you on the videos, that I would do that with you with your information. And I think it's really important for everyone here to learn, when we are going to teach it to speak in our own voice. There's another step that goes beyond that, but you need to start by, giving ChatGPT some of that. And then, there are so many pieces to this. And, in an hour, talking to all of you, I can't get into the weeds with it, but there are a lot of weeds. It's like a forest of weeds. I mean, really. And, but I think it's fascinating. And the idea that it's going to take over the world and all this other stuff, there's so much hype right now. It's all BS, and that's not going to happen. And my feeling about what's going to happen is that the biggest companies will pick up the startups, and if it's Google, they'll keep it. And then when we all love it, they'll take it away, like they did with Google Plus and like they did with Google Reader. But, that's where it's going to go. The biggest companies are going to, Sam Altman, who is the president of OpenAI that owns ChatGPT, is probably going to end up at Microsoft, if you ask me. But, he's already got a deal with them. And what Mark Zuckerberg is doing is absolutely fascinating. He wants to achieve Singularity is considered to be, it's called AGI, and I forget what those initials stand for, but that is considered to be when when AI has all of human knowledge. And I don't believe that's ever going to happen, but hey, it might. And so what he's doing is he's creating his own, these are based on what's called a large language model. And he's creating his own. He's taken the gazillions and billions of dollars that they have for research and development, and he's focusing them all on AI. Right now, his stuff is open source. At some point, obviously, it's going to have ads. All of this is going to change. We're in the earliest of days here. I mean, don't forget that ChatGPT has been around for a year, and so this is just an evolving area. What I want to say to all of you is how smart you are to be here at the beginning and to, be incorporating this kind of knowledge, because it's going to put you light years ahead of the people who are going, I don't get this. The same people who said, I'll never put a credit card on the internet. Are you crazy? I can't put a BCC in an email. I don't know how to do that. Those same people, we're going to be calling them unemployed pretty soon, but it's important to wrap your head around this, because it's not going to go away. That's really the bottom line.
Great. Well, I think we need to wrap this up. but-
Yes, we do. And you
Yeah.
guys have been just wonderful. And I really, I hope that I've answered your questions. I hope you'll consider working with me, because I think that I could really help each one of you.